Guys, what's going on? This is your boy Dentarius Lock coming at you guys with another video. It is regular season. Finally, preseason is over with. Now this is actually the real thing. Every game that we play does count. Um, the actual Bruce Arians era starts now. I like what we have, what's going on this year so far coming up. We have a lot more depth. James is playing very, very good in the preseason league. Looks like he's actually holding the ball instead of forcing throws as much as he was last year. What I'm going to do with this video, I'm going to do a schedule prediction. I'm going to start doing this starting today. Give you a little bit of expectations and a few surprises that I think is going to happen. And I'll be posting pregame videos, as far as preview videos, and then post-game videos of what I think was going on. Maybe sometimes during the game, in-game videos, during the game videos. So, but let's get straight to it. I like us to have a very good season, but I'm going to start off each game and kind of give you a rundown of what I think is going to happen. Also, guys, if you do have the chance, follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Black-813 is my handle. Black, the word dash, numbers 813. I will be posting some of my videos there, also on my story as well. But let's get it cracking. I got to be unbiased with this. It's going to be a little bit of bias to it, but it's going to be a lot of unbiased thoughts to these games. So I'm trying to keep it as real as I can. So we're going to start off against the 49ers. It's a late game, home game. Jimmy Garoppolo is coming back from a torn ACL last year. This team is not going to be sorry. So we got to watch out for them. It's going to be one of them sneaky teams. They have a great coach, and Mike Shanahan bringing that offense. Obviously, we know that was with the Super Bowl when they had a huge lead against the Patriots. And they had that season where they were putting up monster numbers. So, but I think we win this game. And the reason why is because I think Bruce Arians and that defense with Todd Bowles, James starts off very hot and doesn't force the ball as much. I think he starts off with a very decent game, and we put a victory. Now, I think our defense is going to be a lot different than what a lot of people think. Right now, people are expecting us to have that usual Tampa 2 defense. So a lot of people are going to probably pick, a lot of you doing fantasy league are probably going to pick against that defense. I would say, I would recommend to not do that. I feel like this defense that we have with Todd Bowles is a lot different. You're going to see a lot more blitzes. I do see us sacking Jimmy Garoppolo a few times and bringing pressure. But also with that back end is going to benefit a lot more. So do know that we will see a lot more turnovers. So, yeah, I like us to beat the 49ers at home first week coming up. At Carolina on a short trip. Thursday night. This game is going to be tough for two reasons. For one, it's Carolina's a rivalry game, and it's on a short week in Carolina. Actually, it's three things. I see this as a loss. And the reason why is because it's a short turnaround on a Thursday night, and this team is going to have some kind of depth. I think this is going to be the big test for Jameis, as we've seen against the Browns, where that pass was coming. That O-line has to tighten up. So I see it being a tight game. I know we still got a couple games in Carolina, but I do see this one as a tough one. So I always see us against rivalry teams as far as the Saints and Falcons and the Panthers. I do see those as we win one and lose one majority of the time. Most of the time I see that. So I think this game is going to be kind of tough. And also I see Gerald McCoy being very hyped for this game. I don't see him wrecking the game up. I just think that he's going to play a lot better or more motivated. And I think he makes a little small impact against us in Carolina. I think that'll be Cam a little bit more healthier than he would be week one. Christian McCaffrey is a big deal. But I do see this being as a tight game, but I see us losing just because of the fact that it's on a short week and we're traveling at the same time. Giants at home. This should be an easy W in my mind. I mean, Saquon, Golden Tate, that O-line is trash. The defense is not really doing too much. Eli is looking like he's about ready to just hang it up and retire. So, simple. That's an easy W. For me, that's what I believe. So, and it's at home, 4 o'clock. No Odell. Big offensive playmakers are Evan Ingram and Saquon. We control both of those. Sterling Shepard, Golden Tate, They're nothing. Well, not nothing, but I feel like the bigger pieces are Saquon and Evan Ingram, which I think we can contain both of those with this defense. At LA Rams, 4 o'clock game. This is when it gets tough. Because right now you're gonna go far west. It is the next Sunday, and it's a late game, an adjustment for us. But that game is gonna be very tough, man. I see this being a shocker to us. I need to see what our defense looks like after 3 weeks of play, so I can make when I make my preview video for this game, I can see where we are, how do we look, what to expect. But I see us winning this game. And the reason why is because this team relies solely on running the ball with Todd Gurley. If we contain that, I think that we are in a totally different scenario with this team. I think we control what the offense can do. I mean, they got the Cooper Kupp, the Brandon Cooks, and all these other options, but if you contain their main player, Todd Gurley, you have a big chance of winning. Now, this defense is pretty good, but you're still looking at a few missing pieces as far as one of them we got, Ndamukong Suh on the DN, LaMarcus Joyner gone. So this defense is not going to be the same defense as it was last year. They do have the same D coordinator, but I think that this is a huge game for the running backs. I expect to see Ronald Jones have a decent game. I hope Peyton Barber shows up. And also O.J. Howard. I think that he destroys everything across the middle, him and Cameron Brate. So I actually see us sneaking at that game. Now, that is going to be a huge game where we make the huge turnaround. That's going to be the big win for Bruce Arians' era, in my opinion. Now we're on a winning streak, and we go to New Orleans at 1 o'clock. Shout out to my boy Bracy, because that's like one of his favorite teams, and my cousin Glenn, who is from New Orleans. They are huge Saints fans. And I always have a conversation with them prior to these games, whether it's in New Orleans or it's in Tampa. But it's hard to play in that stadium, man. I'm not going to lie to you. I see us losing this game. And it's just the atmosphere of this game, the quick turnaround. I mean, you just came from L.A., then you're going to travel all the way back and play New Orleans, forced to win the back-to-back. I see that being very unlikely, if I'm being unbiased. I think it's very, very slim chance of it happening. But having a tough game with the Rams and then coming back and having a tough game with Alvin Kamara, Drew Brees, Michael Thomas, Ted Ginn, and Cam Jordan in that defense, Marcus Lattimore, it is going to be a rivalry game, but I think that is where we take a loss. So what are we looking at? We're looking at 2 losses, looking at 3-2 right now. So now we go to London. Remember, I tell you this stretch is kind of tough. Now we go to London and we play Carolina. This game, I'm so glad that it's in London, because Jerry McCoy went to Carolina to play us in Tampa, and that is not happening. So I'm so happy about that. Win. That's simple. We're ready this game. We played them the first time. They got us the first time. We win this game right here. Period, point blank. It's an early game, too, so for you big Buc fans, make sure you go to sleep early, or you set your alarm clock for 9:30 instead of 1 o'clock, which is usually the time that we play on the East Coast. It'll be 9:30 in London. Now we have a bye week, which is what we need. So now we're looking at going into the bye. We are looking at 4-2. That's great. We go in there 4-2. I'm happy. At Tennessee, when they're one dimension, in my opinion. I know I have Corey Davis and a couple other pieces in the past game, but if you get to Marcus Mariota, and we owe them since the first game we played when James was a rookie, and so was Marcus Mariota, and they beat us in Tampa, we owe them. So I see it as a victory, and the reason why is because they're one dimension. We control Derrick Henry and Deion Lewis. Easy victory. At Seattle, W. They're not deep enough. I know they got Jadeveon, but they're not deep enough. That team is not the same team that we've seen go to the playoffs, go to the Super Bowl back-to-back. That's not the same team. They got Russell Wilson, yes, but there are a lot of key pieces that are gone. That Legion of Boom is done for. The last piece was Earl Thomas. He's gone. Bobby Wagner is going to be a problem, but we have so many pieces on offense. We don't have to worry about him. W. Arizona, W. New Orleans, W. we get our payback at home. We're gonna beat them. We're gonna beat them either in New Orleans or in Tampa. That's just how it works. We're gonna beat them one or the other. So I see that as a W. Atlanta. At Atlanta. In Atlanta, I'm sorry. Um, I see this as a loss. And Atlanta is another situation like New Orleans. This is a hot atmosphere. They're going to be ready to play us. We're coming off a long, great win streak. I think we're going to be confident, but I think that back-to-back rivalry conference game, division game, as far as New Orleans to come back to Atlanta, I think that kind of gets us. I think we lose that one. At Jacksonville, W. Now, this is what I think is going to be a high-scoring game. I see this kind of being like a 42-35 game, but I think we win this one. Jacksonville and Miami have always been the little brothers of Tampa, in my opinion. Now, they're a lot better than what we've known as far as with Mark Brunell, Maurice Jones-Drew, Fred Taylor back in the day. This is a totally different team. But I think that we can sneak this one out. I think this goes down to whoever has the ball last. That's just in my opinion. Indianapolis. You asked me this before with Andrew Luck. I say this is a tight game, but I think we win this game. Jacoby Brissett is a decent quarterback, but I think we take advantage of the fact that this is one of his first, seasons of starting as a full quarterback, and I think that we are in a great position at this point. I think that now we are confident and we have a great depth. Now we be able to get things together as far as the defense that Todd Bowles wants. Now this is a low scoring game, maybe a 7-3, 10-7 game, 10-3 game, because both defenses will be playing pretty good. But I see us winning this game as well. At Detroit. Detroit is going to be one of those games that if you don't pay attention to it, they can sneak one out. But I see us losing this game. And the reason why is because this is one of those games where, like I said, we go in this game feeling very confident, and they sneak by us. Matt Stafford does love to throw picks, but that defense is a better defense than it's been in the past. And I think that we underestimate it just a little bit. That's just my opinion. I think we underestimate it just a little bit, and they sneak one out of us. Houston, loss. And the reason why I think is Deshaun Watson is just too much for our defense to handle. I think that we'll be ready to play, but we always have a problem with mobile quarterbacks. That is a huge deal for us. We don't know how to. We have in the past been able to maintain quarterbacks, and I did say we will change the defense around, and we see difference. But if we blitz too much and he has scrambles, that could cause a lot of problems on the back end. That defense that we're making is great, and it works a lot. But if you get you a scapegoat quarterback, such as a Michael Vick type, a Deshaun Watson type, Randall Cunningham, something like that, that can cause a lot of back end problems when you're playing man and you're blitzing maybe 6 to 7 people. All right, last game of the season. At Atlanta, I think that this game is going to determine who wins the NFC South. I think Jameis is playing very good at this point. The offense looks flawless, but I think we sneak this one out because Atlanta always gives us problems. They're always an issue that we have. So, but I think we win, like I said, one or the other, either in Atlanta or in Tampa. As far as how I feel about all of our other division games, I think we win this one. So we win this one. We're sitting pretty good. Let me see. I got us losing. One, two. Hold on. I got us losing. Give me 1 minute. 1, 2. So I see that we have a very good chance of making the playoffs, in my opinion. Things go well, there's a huge chance that we will win the division. That's just me. It's going to take at least 10 games to win it right now. What I got us beating. I got us beating 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I got us about 12-4, 11-5. So we can win this division. It's just about how we play throughout the season. Injuries bar none. We don't need any injuries at all. The biggest surprises that I think for us is Ronald Jones has a great season. I think that he takes over Peyton Barber's position. That's just my opinion. That's what I think. I think this is his breakout season. A lot of people are hyped on Chris Godwin and O.J. Howard. I believe that that's not a surprise to me. I expect that O.J. Howard has been like that since he was at Alabama as far as breaking a 50-yarder or a 5-yarder and turning to 80 yards. Chris Godwin was a huge pick out of Penn State, so I'm expecting him to show out. Also seeing Bruce Arians saying that he's not going to leave the field at all. He's going to treat him more so like a Larry Fitzgerald type. So he's going to take a lot of pressure off Mike Evans. But I do see us having a great season. But I do see Ronald Jones also being the bell cow running back at some point. I don't really see any disappointments. But I do see our defense playing a lot better. We're going to see a totally different type of defense. It's a defense that we've been seeing from different teams. We're going to see a defense that works for this type of NFL. The defense that we've been running in the past is more so the Tampa 2 kind of defense that doesn't work in this day's NFL. This is a pass-happy league. So I think we see something different. Like I said, I'm looking at 11-5, 12-4, somewhere in that range, and expect us to have a great season. So Buck fans, expect a lot, man. This is going to be a great season, in my opinion.